What is the Chapter 91 that you referred to?
So Chapter 91 license, John, go ahead. I can explain
Yeah,
it.
okay, so it's interesting little bit of Massachusetts history in particular. It goes back to the colonial law. Massachusetts and Maine actually are the only states in the United States that have ownership that go all the way up to mean no water. And the reason Maine, because Maine used to be part of Massachusetts. And if you really study your history, you know that was part of the Missouri Compromise. There was slave states versus free states, and when Missouri became a state, part of the compromise to keep the balance of power between the North and the South was that they split Massachusetts into two, and Maine became a free state, and Missouri was allowed to come into the Union. So anyways, going back to the colonial law, when the properties were first deeded from the king, even before it was the United States, it was a colony of Great Britain. The ownership of the property went all the way up to mean low water, and it still does.
Low water?
Mean low water, yes. A lot, and some of those may have changed because of the way the properties were sold off. But technically speaking, the original deeds were written up to mean low water. So as we know, there's a huge tidal range, for instance, if you're on Cape Cod Bay side. So you know that amount of beachfront is quite large in some of the properties. So the jurisdictional lines essentially run between the high water mark and the low water mark. Anything beyond low water is in Commonwealth jurisdiction. That intertidal zone between high and low water, even though you own the property all the way out, there were certain rights of passage that the citizens of the Commonwealth had privileges over. And the colonial law was written such that those rights were limited to the purposes of fishing, fowling, and navigation. So if you have a fishing pole or a gun, if you're hunting or you're in a boat, you could traverse across private property. So as the Commonwealth developed in order to encourage interstate commerce, the Commonwealth allowed for construction of structures within that intertidal zone. So if you build a pier or a dock or a boat ramp or a marina, you're essentially obstructing potentially the interest of the Commonwealth to be able to traverse across those intertidal areas. So once you build a structure across that, the state would allow you to do that subject to certain requirements, which is a license. So you would have to obtain a license in order to construct the pier or the dock or whatever it is within those areas and obtain a license accordingly. And those licenses were typically for a certain period of time, and they would allow you to construct and maintain. So some of the older ones were essentially in perpetuity. They throttled that back down to 99-year licenses. The new licenses are limited to 30 years. So, you know, again, that kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier in terms of some of these waterfront structures that were done, and they're into those intertidal zones. The interest of the Commonwealth had gotten more restrictive as time had gone by. So what you can do in those intertidal zones are more restricted. Towns have passed bylaws that prohibit construction of certain types of structures. So anyway, so Chapter 91 really kind of it's a segment of legislation that allows or permits the certain types of construction within that intertidal zone.
Thank you.
Long answer to a short question.
But it is fascinating once you get into it.